Hello guys, and welcome to another video. Today I'm in crazy mode basically. I've got loads of different shows, loads of different lighting shows going on, and I've just got at least a few days spare, so I might as well just show you guys a few things. So I've been working on a few drama productions, like proper productions, like done loads of shows at a nearby school, some other types of events. They're really cool, really nice shows. But the main thing that most directors or designers or actual actors don't understand is what lighting really is. It's the hazer. And I'm just going to talk to you guys about what I've learned and what is lighting. So obviously we can turn on all our lights. Also, we've got a little bit of a haze in here. Got the split machine on, and this is basically the rig for a new show. So I've got some lights up on the T-bar, which has got I've got two LED power to 50 watts. Then we have two LED moving heads, which are really just RGBW LED moving heads. I'll talk about more of them in a minute. Then we have four small 12 watt LED powers. They're just the basics, and then we have some LED strip lights down the floor right here that are doing some light, obviously. Now the reason for this is not to just say all the directors and stuff are really stupid, we should take control, all that kind of stuff. All the directors are really good, they're really good, really nice and simple. The only problem about these is that sometimes these lights, sometimes you just get people that just say, I want the most basic stuff, but the only problem about the basic stuff is that you don't get the things that you want. Sometimes the controller crashes, sometimes you have some of the lights that you don't want to do, like some colours, and you don't get the people lit, you actually get their back of some of their faces lit, side of them, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to go through what lights you really need to use in a real event like this. So firstly, you need a main front light. So front lights, what we're using these LED strip tapes. These are basically just tape, like, actually I've got a roll right here. Basically this cheap LED tape, really small, just one of the most simplest stuff you could ever buy. It's like, I don't know, like £5 or £10 per roll. This is just a single colour strip, so this is warm white or WW. If you were in the traditional technology version. And these things, they're actually really bright. Obviously they're LED, so they don't take any heat and hardly any power, like the tungsten or halogens. They take up to like 400 or 500 watts to even get a good light out of them. But the only problem about these is that you need to buy extra things so you can actually get these to work. Like, I've built these got these wall protectors, which are what you use to put cables in for electricals or things like that. I basically have three of those. One's about 1.5 meters, another one's about a meter. Two of them are both meters, and you just have to layer them in. They have a sticky back at the back, nice and simple. But the problem about these is that you have to do all the cable management and all the cabling stuff, because this is waterproof. So you basically have to cut this and solder it, all that kind of stuff. And if you're just basically wanting lights, it might not be the most simplest way, but who knows? It's possibly one of the most craziest ones. The other thing that really bugs about these is that they just are so quite expensive to get these things up and running. So like if you wanted to control them, that's another different story. If you wanted to just turn them on, that's pretty much fine. You just need to buy a DC power supply, you're done. But if you wanted to take control of them via DMX or Ethernet, then you have to buy a DMX decoder, which is what I've got. I've got a DMX 512 decoder. That's basically your DMX driver that allows you to control the lights on your software or controller. These are all lights, every light that we have here has DMX inside. If you haven't know what DMX is, and watch my video about that, it's basically just a data signal that's been sent from this controller, from the DMX buddy. I'm using wireless, you don't need to use wires, you just use wires. Wires are more convenient sometimes if you're doing installations. But for this kind of thing, it's really, really nice, because you don't need to have cables crossing the floor, hundreds of different things going on. You need to check every cable works. Like that tripod, that truss, I use it for some of my gigs, and one of the cables in the middle, one of those two cables have broke, and now I need to get those fixed, which is not a nightmare. It's basically just 3 pins, you need to resolder them. But the connections sometimes come apart, the pins spread out and the pins come out of line, those different things. Now, DMX is basically just the way to control your lights, and you can basically change all your colours on MyDMX. So this is the DMX software I have, the MyDMX 2.0. I recently upgraded to MyDMX 2.0 because I wanted to use the launchpad control, which basically allows you to use the faders or a pad to launch the active shot. So if you wanted to say like, oh, I wanted to have wanted it to snap to move to left stage, that's easy. You can just press it on the cursor, then moving it suddenly go to the left. The only problem about that is that you have to rely on your mouse. Why not just use a keyboard or a controller, as well as able to fade them in, fade them out, like dimmer in and out and stuff like that. The other thing is LED lighting is coming in as well, so there's more LED lighting design. So more LED technology is now coming in. 2020 bulbs are going illegal, so they're illegal to buy, so you cannot buy them again, and it's hurting a lot of companies. So you might start finding that Fresnels and all those really massive simple pieces of kit are soon going to go to LED lights, which have the DMX, the digital display, and all this stuff that will just scare hundreds of people. And it will, because it's just something that you need an expert to understand, or have someone who has years of experience to have lights and have lights themselves. That's something that you can't find more than once. It's really hard. The other thing about editing technology is that you can basically change color, so any color you want to whatever you've seen, instead of having 4 or more lights. So you have one of the Fresnels to have red, the other Fresnel to have a green, the other one to have a blue. If you don't know what Fresnels are, they're basically massive bulb lights that are made out of steel and have a glass, detailed glass on them. That's basically just a frost effect. Those things are soon going to go out, and people are starting to buy the LED version, which has got RGBW, so that means red, green, blue and white. Every theatre now has that. They're now getting rid of their old lights, chucking them in the bin and selling them to other people. So that's pretty much what's happening with LED. Now, the other thing is that all this stuff will have to be able to be moved from stage to another stage. So whenever you want like this truss or the T-bar, those are just some of the most simplest things. Instead of bringing a massive truss system that has 18 different lights, and you have a massive truck, that'll just be so expensive, and secondly, that'll be so unpractical. The only thing is that this can easily go to anyone's house. You can not anyone's house, into anyone's car, and just be transported to the left and right. Truss turns out to pretty much nothing. This stuff pretty much just turns down. You can just put in some blankets and off you go from flight cases. So that's pretty much what you need if you wanted to do a theatre, the practicability and the transport of the equipment. Some theatres go up to like 17 or 18,000 pounds for a lighting system. Like, I don't blame them, because some of the lights that we have nowadays are really expensive, like the Martin Mac Ontours. I was actually able to use those. They were 30 kilogram moving lights worth up to £6,000. Like, why would anyone spend that much on an LED moving head? Pretty much anyone in relevance. Now, the thing about LED lighting is that you need, with theatres, you'll have an easy cool effect like smoke or a strobe effect. Now, you don't need how to get this thing out. One of these massive 1500 watt strobes if you wanted to do theatre. Every theatre has one of these because these things are like the best thing for a blockbuster or a horror. It'll be a perfect thing to have when someone dies or something like that. I'm not too sure. It's completely up to the director. But you don't need those things. LED is just as quick. I would actually show you how fast some of the strobes are, which I can find in the controller. Now, strobing is used everywhere. They now use them as a little play toy. So let's just turn down some of the lights in the back. Oh, let's come off. So you can pretty much see. Oh, let's just go back to here, and let's just do some of the lights in the strobe. And there you go, pretty much just a strobe effect. And yeah, I know it's like just pulling faders, but it's a lot safer and a lot better to use the lights that you already have instead of having just a £100 light that you can just mount and you basically just use it once or twice a show. It's not practical, and secondly, it's not that good. And secondly, hazers. Now, I've got one of these. This is a Beams F1500. It's a hazer. Now, if you don't know what a hazer is, it's basically a phaser. Sorry, a phaser. So phasers are basically a water-based fluid smoke machine that has a massive fan at the back that blows it out and creates these little puffs of smoke. Like I'll show you now. Actually, oh, that's rubbing. There you go. And it can basically just on. You can see it's basically a plume of smoke, but it's basically like someone entering a room like what do you call them? A witch just throwing something on the floor and just having a massive smoke effect. It's really good in theatre. I've used, I think, a few smoke machines in the theatre before. I've used it for production I did over in the nearby theatre that I did. We basically just used it as, firstly, as someone walking out of a massive dining room full of smoke that he's burnt loads of food and stuff, and secondly, we used it for the Halloween Island. It basically makes the effect looks so much better, and it is really, really nice. The other thing is, hazers are just something that everyone's just going crazy on. Hazers are just something else that you would like to use. Now, when you come to theatre, that light's come off. In theatre, you just have to worry about what you're going to use. If you're going to use your lights to just go to one area, then PARs are brilliant. But if you're having an actor or a script that's moving from left to right to centre to back to rear and all that kind of stuff, best thing to use is possibly LED moving heads. Now when I mean LED moving heads, I mean these big guys. These are just moving heads that are, these are basically motors that are on the light that are able to move it all 360 degrees. Not straight up from the unit, but it can turn it 180 or so around the venue, which is really nice. You can do loads of really cool effects with those, but really they're great for just moving left and right, up and down, all that kind of stuff. Because they're basically the best lights you can buy for any stage or any production. That's why I have 2 washers as well as I've got 2 spots. Spots are basically just the most simplest and the most easiest, but they're just a small concentrated light. So these are washers, so you have a large open field of light, and isn't sharp. It's really out of focus and far out, whatever you like to call it. Now, controllers. What are controllers? Now, controlling systems is something big in all productions. If you had a production, you were like, okay, I want some lights, I want them as simple as possible, I want them movements, I want all the kind of stuff. And you're given the script, and the script's like from inspector calls, and you're like, okay, they want this, they want that. But then you need to know what you're going to do with it. Are you going to use it on a controller, or software, or manually? Manually is basically just by a SATA controller, or if you're going to do it via software, which is the biggest thing now, or everyone's going software. So basically your controller is this little thing. Ignore this, this is basically the wireless transmitter. Sorry. This is basically your DMX part. This is what controls your lights. This is the, everything will off, your DMX things right here. And it's really, really simple, obviously. Cool. It's just really, really simple thing. And obviously you have your computer here. There's my computer, it's a touchscreen computer. I think you guys can see it. There you go. And obviously, this stuff is really, really simple. You can't see it because of those lights. But this controller is one of my favourites. Obviously it's AEG, so really simple company. Now the thing is about this is that it's really not the most hardest softwares. It's possibly one of the most easiest, because it's got, let me just go into editor here, got all 512 channels of DMX. Now 512 is basically one universe, so it's basically one of the most easiest controllers out there. So you don't really need to know much about DMX really, because DMX is basically the most simplest things you could ever get into. It's only one man today, sorry. But basically my DMX basically splits it into like complicated stuff like 088, MA, Ava Lights. They're the big companies in lighting. But they basically just simple it down. And this is what gets everyone into lighting, because you basically control it and get experience from it. That's what everyone misses out. So okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's just a little bit of a talk about lighting and stuff. Now, it was a little bit of a weird one. The camera just shut off at the last moment, so I had to cut it out really short. But thank you very much everyone for watching. Like and comment if you guys like, and comment please, because I'd like to know any more suggestions you think I should do on this channel. Anything else like DJing or talk about audio or anything like that. Or if you have like anything like, if you want to talk about anything else. And please subscribe and hit that bell and notification bell as well if you guys like to be notified of any more videos I do. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.